This is episode 2 of When Love Works. We are talking to Alethea and Cullen Maddox, and we're here with my co-host Felice Reeves, as well as our guests. And I want you guys to understand that when love works, we've already learned in episode 1, there's priorities. We've already learned that you have to identify what your relationship is and know what you're pouring in and what you expect back should be equal. It should be
mutual.
Equal to. Yes, see, we learned that it should be mutual, not equal.
Right. Mutual.
Yes. So Felice, what's your main take of episode 1 that maybe our coaches need to answer?
The mutual part. So first, but I like to ask a question because Nanette, you mentioned part of the title or their company name, but there's a word that you left out, and I'd like them to expound upon that, and that's the dynamically. So why that word, and tell us about the meaning of that.
Yeah, I mean,
relationships aren't static in that way, so
right.
You have to be able to shift the engagement. When love works, you will see that you evolve. And if you're not open to having people call you on how you're pouring in, maybe your mutuality stops. Maybe you become stagnant. That dynamic process is ever evolving. It's ongoing. Yep. And so we just wanted people to not get a sticker shock when they work with us. The title says When Love Works. Keyword, you're going to be working it. Love is a verb. It's actionable. So if you choose to work with us, it will be real-time practice, maybe some discomfort, but it's a dynamic process that's going to hold you throughout the longevity of your interaction with people, because we don't want you to cause harm and then say, oh, that's what you're just supposed to take or accept because you're in a relationship with me. We don't want people normalizing dysfunction just because that's a family member or a partner.
Yes.
No, we're very clear that there are some people that are in, marriages even that have been together 450 years and they are dysfunctionships or situationships. And those are all unhealthy bonds. And we're saying, wait, back up. Dynamically, you have to put in the work. And if you all haven't created that foundation using that definition and things of that nature and some other tools that we share with people, then there will be no surprise when conflict shows up in year 5. Because if you've only done the work of a 2-month-old couple, then your relationship, while it may have celebrated 50 years, is really only 2 months old.
And I'm not a relationship coach at all. But what I do understand about relationships is one thing that Cullen mentioned in episode 1. As you grow, things change. And as you just said, the dynamics in it can change. There's a lot of things that can make those dynamics change. The change of age, the change of jobs, the change of your stress level, your interaction with other people. These things change it. So when you talk about working with couples or you talk about working with individuals so that they know, do you work with them together and separate? Or do you work with them? Do they have to be, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, or mates that come in together and work with you? Or do you then separate them? Because some of the issues that people bring, that load of baggage that they bring with them, sometimes it's not even the baggage of the person that they're in the relationship with.
Yeah. No, hey, it's always going to be, if you're a couple and you're coming in for work, both of you are coming in for the work. And, from time to time, we can't get one partner to come in and, and sometimes that's the harm giver or whatever the case may be. But we know that evolution can come through one person. It can come through them. But our preference is always to have both people come in because we've seen this way too much. There's a women's group at church. There's a men's group at church, and they go behind each doors and they and they talk about each other, and they talk about them women do this and them men do this and this and that and the other. And my wife and I said, that's not how we're doing this. The issues, conflict is not a bad word. Conflict is an invitation into creativity and collaboration. So most couples only have about 10 to 12 things that trip them up. If you come together, collaborate around those issues, you never got to see them again. Now you know going forward, this is the way we handle money. This is the way we handle in-laws. This is the way we handle this. And it's something that the two of you collaborated on.
Yeah. And then when we work with individuals, because those are some of our favorite, we do have a dating series, or a single individual person comes to us, and we've worked with them even through the journey to engagement, splitting, re-courtship, and marriage, on to children after. Like, we're still in their lives, a lot of them. But the individuals that come to work with us are, like you mentioned, and that like they literally are saying, wait, I'm having the same type of partner. I'm in the same sort of relationship. So let me start with me. Those who work with us as individuals, of course, they see gains because they're literally asking us to really do the deep dive with them. And we're chipping away at that foundational. What are some foundational beliefs that result in you seeing the same type of practices? And then we're going to, after we chip away that foundation, we're going to work alongside of you to build a healthier one. And so after that, the dating becomes conscious. We call it the conscious dating model. Now it's a heightened level of consciousness. It's a heightened level of dating. And within a short amount of time, they see success because they have a healthier foundation.
And that's important. That's important.
But
so now let me ask you this. If a person is coming in and they find that, okay, they're holding on to baggage. They really have an issue, but this is baggage that they can't get rid of. It's an ex. Maybe it's a co-parenting situation. Maybe it's an in-law situation where the in-laws are helping out with the children. Situations that they can't really alter because it just is the situation.
Yeah.
How can one work around being able to be acceptable to those situations? Because
we don't like that word. We don't like that word.
I don't either.
I was going like this.
Yeah, I don't either. But the thing about it is, it's a fact in a lot of relationships that they do accept it. So what becomes, and I guess maybe I am using the wrong word, because what I want it to be is where they begin to understand that they don't have to. How does one get to that point where they begin to understand that just because you have that situation or the dynamic of that situation, that's not going to change. It's not. How does one get through that or begin to accept that?
I'm going next.
Okay.
I'll go first, huh? Look, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much power you have. There are things that come along that you can't do anything about. It may be your health. It may be this, maybe that, or whatever. You see, I've seen some of the wealthiest people in the world, like, just get blindsided by life because life happens to everybody and whatever. You might not be able to change the fact that, and I'm just using this imaginary wealthy person because I'm not putting this on anybody. You might not be able to change the fact that you have a terminal cancer, but you can change how it lands on you, and you can change how you decide to receive it and how you accept it and how you move around it, which is a better way to say it. You can change how you move around it. And I take that from Viktor Frankl, who was in the camps. He was in the internment camps. Yeah. And that was the one thing he did. He blew all of the prison guards' minds because he was able to keep his joy. And he lost all his family members, but he was still able to stay grounded and keep his joy. He said, y'all can take everything from it, but you can't take away how I feel.
Yes.
And it's very similar to that. We give people, we let them know, you in the moment, that's the present moment is where you have the power. And you may not be able to change this situation, but you can definitely change how you interact with it. I know you wanted to go out.
So it's a conscious, again, that's why I use that word consciousness. When we work with individuals, it's a conscious model that we use, and the same thing with couples. We bring them into consciousness that if you want to have a healthy co-parenting practice and you can do nothing about the in-laws or the other party, what you're going to do is now show up as a love leader. You have the language, you have the way to engage. So now you'll be using these healthier practices up until the point that you can, because there are some connections where you'll get very clear that some people don't want to be in healthy relationships. So at some point, because you'll be conscious now, you'll have better material to make a decision that some things they just may not want to. Every human being has the right to be in choice. Every human being has the right to be in choice. And there are some human beings, though you may be connected through a child or whatever, have the right to say, no, I don't want to be in a healthy relationship with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay, from the single person on the panel. and the phrase keeps going in my head, I can do bad all by myself. No, but seriously, so I went out to your website and I did sign up for it. But we talked about you working on self, or making sure yourself is where you need to be before you go into relationship, right? So again, when I'm trying to get to how, there are plenty of times where people, walk in the grocery store and meet somebody and then they start a relationship. How do you really intentionally prepare yourself to go?
Yeah. Our singles is the best, because one, you have to do exactly what you just said. Wait, I want to be in the dating space. Because if you don't, then all of your energy, again, that's another, we combine the science, we've done all the research, we've done the numbers. The Hawkins scale of consciousness literally says, if you're not in that space, you will not attract that. Two, if you're just doing a grocery store, just showing up as Felice every day, then you're more than likely to attract people who will, to your honest self versus I don't want to, or negative energy. Because if that person comes along, then you're going to have a bad, quote unquote, bad experience. The individuals who work with us that want to have healthy connections, yes, they're going to be working on themselves while they are using the dating skills, because we don't believe in work on yourself and then go date. We're like, no, you're going to put these tools into practice. We don't believe in sitting and putting love on the shelf and waiting for this perfection model, because that's not a thing. But what you still have to do is show up with the tools. You're going to break down that foundation, and some of it may be uncomfortable. That's why you have us by text. That's why we're checking in on you. That's why you're calling us right before you're talking to this person. Like, those are the tools that we have, because we recognize we just want the person that you're engaging with to get an authentic read of you. And so some of our old stuff, or some of our projection stuff, the future stuff, is giving people false reads. And so if you want the best opportunity to match with a partner that's ideal for you, then you want to show up as your authentic self at the most times possible.
So what I'm understanding is that we're dressing up to be prepared. We're dressing up to be prepared to be accepting the mutual relationships.
Yes. And it's not required. It's not required. Let me tell you something. Love can write off whatever imperfections you have. That come as yourself. Don't dress up.
Don't dress it up.
Anything. If you dressing up, it's not sustainable. You dressing up is like holding your arms out like this to the side. Hopefully you can see this. You can pull your arms out to the side. If you're a great athlete, you may be able to do it for 2 hours. At the end of that 2 hours, this is gonna feel like you holding up 2 lead pipes. That's how they're gonna fall. And I'm gonna tell you, it's the same thing. If you feel like you gotta be this better person, you have been misinformed. Just be you, and the two of you will grow together. In fact, your imperfections are sometimes the thing that attracts that person to you.
I like that. Okay, so just to play devil's advocate, because there's those people that want to intentionally bring them authentic best self forward. But what about those people that, the language is thirsty, that just it's like their whole mindset is I gotta have somebody.
Yeah.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Look at those faces. We're going to take that into episode 3. We're going to take that right into episode 3 because that conversation, I know just from the faces and the look of our coaches, they looked at that as if to say, oh boy, you're getting ready to get real juicy now. We'd like to thank those that tuned in this week. As we close out episode 2, make sure if you missed episode 1, go back and catch up and tune in next week for episode 3.